Breaking news today. For the first time in over 3 decades, 2 Federal Reserve governors are openly challenging the consensus, advocating for lower interest rates despite the institution's current stance. This raises a critical question. Who truly governs this influential entity, and why does it seem to overlook the needs of working Americans?
Hello, and welcome to That News Show, where we discuss the latest facts, fakes, and hypocrisy as reported by the legacy media. Let's roll the tape.
Fox News reports a mutiny at the Federal Reserve. Tonight, consider this. When did the Federal Reserve become the most powerful branch of government, and to whom are they accountable? We're witnessing an open revolt within the Fed. 2 governors are openly defying Chair Jerome Powell, calling for lower interest rates while he maintains the status quo. Why? Under President Trump, the economy is thriving. Strong growth, real wage increases, and a resurgence in American manufacturing. Yet the so-called experts at the Fed seem to ignore these realities, still fixated on their ideological pursuits and global priorities. Ordinary Americans are bearing the cost, while the Democratic Party, fragmented and directionless, continues to offer only vague warnings and stale slogans. It's time to question who really benefits from this chaos, and why are our elites so afraid of American prosperity? Let's see what we can find out.
Even if he does it today, probably won't. For what reason? Nobody knows.
So what did the Fed chair do? Nothing.
In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged.
Did this guy get hit in the head renovating the Fed? 3% growth, low unemployment, business investment booming, and inflation's only at 2.1%. 2.1. And unlike Bidenomics, wages are growing faster than inflation. And also unlike Bidenomics, we're creating jobs for Americans, not illegals. Americans have gained 2 million jobs, and illegals have lost 500,000. And what do you know? The fruit's not dying on the vine.
The Federal Reserve has once again opted to maintain interest rates above 4%, diverging from global trends. This decision reflects the priorities of an institution that seems to place its own agenda above the needs of working Americans. Rather than concentrating on stable prices and sound money, the Fed has been preoccupied with progressive causes like climate initiatives and diversity quotas, leaving families to face the consequences. The economic indicators tell a positive story. The American economy is expanding, unemployment is low, and wages are beginning to outpace inflation. This is largely due to policies that prioritize American workers, including protective tariffs, beneficial trade deals, and stringent measures against illegal hiring practices. These efforts are a testament to the current administration's America First strategy. In contrast, the previous administration's approach left American jobs exposed to globalist trade agreements and encouraged the influx of cheap labor. Under the current Republican leadership, 2 million new jobs have been filled by Americans, and 500,000 positions previously held by undocumented workers are now occupied by legal residents. This shift demonstrates the benefits of a government that prioritizes Main Street over Wall Street and the Beltway insiders. Yet the Fed's reluctance to lower interest rates is harmful to ordinary Americans. Higher borrowing costs mean more expensive mortgages, car loans, and credit card bills. It appears the Fed is more focused on preserving its own authority and catering to the elites responsible for past economic troubles. Notably, 2 Fed governors have advocated for rate cuts to support the labor market, but their calls have been ignored by the leadership. This situation is a classic example of regulatory capture, where experts disregard common sense and working Americans bear the brunt. It's time for the Federal Reserve to be held accountable. The American people deserve a central bank that serves their interests, not those of global entities or entrenched bureaucrats, but of the citizens who are the backbone of this nation.
Chuck Schumer, who doesn't even know how to grill a burger, is accusing Trump of putting out fake numbers.
While the Trump administration will try to wave rosy headlines about the Q2 number, today's GDP number is in fact a mirage.
A mirage is when you see things that aren't there, like Joe Biden in the White House. The entire Democrat Party is a mirage. You take away USAID, illegals, and mail-in ballots, and there's no there there. Even CNBC panicans are mocking Chuck and Pocahontas.
Senator Elizabeth Warren will come on and say inflation's out of control and the economy is getting killed by what's happening by these tariffs. This 3% with the market at new highs, and really we haven't seen inflation, but none of these horrible things have happened, but they still talk like it's happening. It's amazing.
There's an important lesson there.
Chuck Schumer's recent criticism of the administration's economic achievements highlights a fundamental lack of substance in the Democratic strategy. While he struggles with basic tasks like grilling a burger, he and his colleagues persist in promoting the outdated notion that recent economic improvements are illusory. The data contradicts their pessimistic claims. The GDP growth rate has reached 3% this quarter. Unemployment is at a historic low, and wages are increasing faster than inflation. Additionally, tariffs have bolstered American industries and restored manufacturing jobs. Despite Senator Warren and other Democrats raising concerns about unchecked inflation, the statistics tell a different story. Inflation has stabilized around 2.7% annually, slightly above the Federal Reserve's target, and food prices have leveled off after last year's increase. Contrary to their grim forecasts, tariffs have not burdened consumers, but have instead benefited American workers by prioritizing national interests and trade policies. The real conflict in Washington goes beyond partisan disagreements, lying between proponents of American sovereignty and advocates of globalist agendas. The administration's trade agreements have compelled foreign competitors to adhere to our standards, as seen in the new energy partnership with Pakistan and the revised trade terms with South Korea, which have boosted our domestic auto industry. These achievements are concrete, bolstering our economy and decreasing dependence on hostile nations. The Federal Reserve appears to operate without oversight, maintaining high interest rates despite cooling inflation and accelerating growth. This suggests that the central bank prioritizes its autonomy over the economic welfare of ordinary Americans, a clear case of regulatory capture where elites benefit at the expense of working families facing higher borrowing costs and increasing prices for everyday items like burgers. The partisan divide is evident. Democrats hold on to ineffective policies and stale arguments, questioning every positive economic indicator, while Republicans have achieved tangible results by rejecting globalist principles and adopting an America First approach. As election season approaches, voters face a distinct choice: revert to the slow growth and lax border policies of previous administrations, or continue towards prosperity and independence that prioritizes American workers.
More on her later. The mainstream media is admitting that Trump is winning. Numbers don't lie, and the deals keep coming. We have just concluded a deal with the country of Pakistan, whereby Pakistan and the United States will work together on developing their massive oil reserves. We're going to drill baby drill in Pakistan after they harbored bin Laden, or as Obama says, Pakistan. And Trump says he just got a deal with South Korea. 15% tariff rate. They buy our energy and invest here in America, and they open up their whole market. POTUS is bringing the doubters on notice.
Critics said that our tariffs would hurt the economy, but the data shows the exact opposite, and the exact opposite is happening. Foreign imports were down 30% in the second quarter, while the domestic auto production surged by a stunning 36%. How about that number, Dr. Oz? Right? That's good.
All the good news is making Democrats blow a fuse. Their attacks are falling flat, so they're turning on each other like the Real Housewives.
Fox News has recognized what the data have shown for months. The United States is consistently securing victories on the international stage. Recent agreements with Pakistan and South Korea validate the effectiveness of a robust America First strategy. The partnership with Pakistan to develop their oil reserves not only opens new avenues for American businesses, but also shifts the power dynamics in South Asia, ensuring that American interests are prioritized. This is a significant change from the past, where Pakistan often played both sides. The agreement with South Korea is even more critical. By negotiating a 15% tariff rate, reduced from a potential 25%, after Seoul committed to investing $350 billion in American projects and purchasing $100 billion in U.S. energy, the administration has set a new standard for negotiating from a position of strength. These deals place America in a commanding position, steering clear of globalist influences and complex multinational agreements that do not favor Main Street. While Fox News effectively captures these developments in their headlines, their coverage could dig in deeper. The network accurately reports statistics such as the 30% decrease in imports and the 36% increase in domestic auto production, but it often overlooks the broader implications of these figures for everyday Americans. The audience needs to understand how these trade policies translate into tangible benefits like job creation, higher wages, and enhanced energy security. Incorporating a wider range of voices from industry, manufacturing, and small business sectors could provide a more grounded perspective. Visually, Fox excels with interesting graphics that illustrate the significance of these agreements through maps, charts, and comparisons. The network could challenge conventional narratives more forcefully. For instance, when faced with criticisms about tariffs from the left, Fox should counter with evidence that American industries are flourishing and that international competitors are now adhering to fair play rules. The mainstream media's hesitation to acknowledge these successes highlights their disconnect from the realities of working Americans. The contrast with the previous administration under Biden and Harris is stark. They were bogged down in protracted negotiations that often disadvantaged American workers. Now the outcomes are clear: increased foreign investment, energy deals that bolster our independence, and trade terms that use American strength. The Democratic Party's current strategy seems to be more internal discord and repetitive rhetoric, offering no real solutions to the nation's challenges. This shift is what voters demanded: a government that eschews globalist thinking, prioritizes American jobs, and keeps our industries and troops from being exploited by elite interests. The momentum is clear, and the opposition's repeated, outdated arguments offer no new solutions.
Their father got cooed and disappeared into Delaware, and now their mom left home. Kamala just made a big announcement. Quote, "After deep reflection, I've decided that I will not run for governor in this election. For now, my leadership in public service will not be in elected office." Hunter Biden, when reached for comment, told us, "That's interesting." Kamala's not running because she was going to lose. Donors weren't giving. And she was going to have to run a tough primary. So to save face, she's going to sit on her keister in California and nag Doug.
Kamala Harris's withdrawal from the California governor's race is unsurprising, given the state's current political climate. When support from donors wanes and the electorate grows restless, even experienced politicians recognize it's time to step aside. The California Democratic Party is grappling with internal conflicts and a lack of innovative ideas, which hasn't gone unnoticed by voters. This retreat reflects more than personal strategy. It signifies a party struggling to unite behind a clear vision. As Harris steps back, California continues to face significant economic challenges: soaring housing costs, a diminishing middle class, and businesses relocating to more tax-friendly states. The state's approach of stringent regulations and excessive spending has stifled innovation and placed additional burdens on working families. On a national level, the economy is experiencing a resurgence due to adjusted tariffs and beneficial energy agreements boosting American manufacturing. Domestic auto production has increased significantly, reducing reliance on imports and enhancing job security for American workers. This economic shift is evident in communities nationwide, where new job opportunities and increasing wages are making a tangible difference. The impact on families is clear. Fewer imports mean more opportunities for American producers, and increased domestic production ensures greater job security. These economic gains are reflected in stable paychecks and a renewed sense of optimism among households. Small businesses, previously hindered by trade agreements that favored international competitors, are now thriving. The contrast with previous administrations is stark. Under Democratic leadership, there was a focus on international appeasement and policies that hindered American economic progress. Now, with a focus on domestic priorities, the results are evident: more jobs, stronger industries, and a commitment to economic independence. While the Federal Reserve has been slow to adjust interest rates, keeping borrowing costs high for families and small businesses, the real momentum stems from policies that prioritize American workers. The positive outcomes of these policies are evident across the country. As California Democrats search for a new direction, it's clear that voters want leaders who deliver tangible results rather than mere rhetoric. The era of unfulfilled promises and unsuccessful policies is ending, and Americans are calling for accountability, prosperity, and a government that served their interests, not those of the global elite. As always, it's interesting to hear how they like to spin this. The Federal Reserve was never intended to act as a shadow government, yet it seems we've reached that point: an unelected elite, unaccountable to anyone, directing the economy while ordinary Americans bear the brunt. Rather than prioritizing stable money and fair markets, the Fed has become preoccupied with progressive trends and globalist agendas. Meanwhile, inflation diminishes your savings and high interest rates burden families and small businesses. Recall that during the previous Democratic administration, this turmoil was overlooked, sometimes even applauded. Now, under President Trump, we have the opportunity to prioritize America's interests over global ones. The crucial question remains: why do we allow these individuals to control our country without our consent? Be sure to comment below. Give a like and subscribe. This is just the beginning. Stay tuned for the next one.